What is going on, everybody? Bobby Fire and Eric Sheets-Haver, who's dealing with Sheets. Sheets is like he's saying, it's orange red there. There's a lot of weather going on in New York, apparently.
Yo,
And it's been a lot apparently all over the East Coast.
Yep. There's no weather.
But everything's good, right?
There's no weather in Scotty Scheffler's world right now.
There's no. It doesn't seem like there ever is, right? Jesus, that's like it's nuts, man. It's he's running away with that thing.
Looks that way.
Yeah, I got a nice one in the it's a 12th in the this Mega Snowman to start. I mean, it means nothing on day one, but it's always nice when you get the 2%.
No, that's huge. That's huge because like there's no like cut worries. You know what I mean? Like it's not like if you have a guy like an 81st, it's no good. You know what I mean? That's like a legit 11th. You know what I mean? Like that's what I love about the no cut thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, and that's the thing is you really can get with even a terrible guy. Unfortunately, I played a bunch of Jordan Spieth who hurt himself today, so that's unfortunate.
Oh my God, that's his first withdrawal in like 300 starts.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you could see he could barely swing, so it wasn't anybody just making anything up or anything like that.
No.
Anyway, getting into to this evening's, let me just make sure I've got the
I'm just building. I just want to make sure I get lineups in. So I did do my DraftKings builds. So I'll be more than happy to share with you where I'm getting right now. What I'll ask you this. What's different about now than you did earlier? Because I didn't even get a chance to look at your video from earlier.
The video I did earlier, I just did the early slate.
Oh, okay.
I didn't talk much about this one because it's only a 5-gamer. So I didn't actually have anything that's that much different. I mean, I didn't have anything. I mentioned a couple brief things, so I didn't really say that much. But I think that it's a pretty straightforward slate where we know. I mean, again, for me on these slates, on these 5-gamers, I really do find the best way to get different is just by Xing out my 5-man stacks, and that's step one for me. But having said that, I do think that like you're going to have, significant ownership on, as usual. We're going to get the daily Houston ownership, which is going to be by far the most popular. And the Dodgers actually are going to probably be third behind Philly in terms of popularity. It's pretty close probably between the two of them. And then the A's after that. So if you wanted to get, to me, like an off the board or off the wall type of thing, I think Atlanta makes a lot of sense. I also think that I still do like the Dodgers, and I'm not willing to, just write it off. I also think if you're in the lottery, I think it makes sense to get to the Mets against, like, Strider hasn't been the same guy he was before. He pitched incredible his last outing, but he hasn't thrown over 90 pitches in a start since April, and he only did one start this season because of the injuries he's battled. He hasn't had he hasn't put up these monster games or anything to where I feel like we should X the other team out. It's also really good hitting weather in Atlanta. So I think that for the lottery, I'm going to end up with a lot of the Mets. What are you getting to, Sheets?
Well, I guess I have to ask a question of somebody because I got 40% of a guy I've never heard of. Who is Jacob Lopez?
That's the pitcher for the A's. And the one thing about that is like, make sure just, I guess, before lock or not before that game locks, after whenever they release it. Because we've seen this with Lopez where he's come like he's been in long relief. And then one time they said he was going to open and he threw 91 pitches and then he was really good. So they kind of let him start since then.
Okay.
But I get it. That's the other way to go is, taking the completely contrarian pitcher against the popular Astros, because they are going to be probably the most popular team. I'm not getting to. I got 10.5% of them. I don't have a ton of them, but I actually like Yamamoto the best. I also think that you could make a pretty good case for Drew Rasmussen. Those are probably my big buy-in starters. Or I would use Strider with Yamamoto. How much of the Charlie Morton are you getting? Because I feel like this is that's the other thing to do. Like you could play Morton, who's going to have some ownership, and he's super cheap, and he's been way better lately. But we know he gets massive bus paths all over the place, and he's been doing it a lot this year. So Tampa Bay was the other team I was sort of considering maybe for high buy-ins pairing with one of the more chalky stacks I like. Tampa Bay and the Mets are my not way off the board, but the lower owned stacks that I like.
Well, to answer your question, he's my other top owned pitcher, Charlie Morton and Jacob Lopez. Those are my two top owned. And again, I just literally just ran process without looking. You know what I mean? Like I just updated my projections. I ran my stuff. I ran my sims, and obviously I'm getting like 2% Spencer Strider and all the Jacob Lopez. You know what I mean? Like that's just like that's it's and leaving like 1,800 on the table, like across the board, pretty much. So it's yeah. So that's the initial run. I wanted to get some lineups in that made sense. Now that's why I want to talk to you. I want to look at some of this stuff. So Jacob Lopez, it looks like he's the probable starter, whatever that means. And it looks here in his last start, he had he's been actually starting. 98,
that's what I was saying.
98, 91, 96 pitches at 6,300 against the chalk team. I'm down. That's fine by me.
Yeah. I think it's totally reasonable. Also, they've never faced him before, I don't believe. Unless I missed the game. I don't think they've ever faced him.
So to answer your question about the stacks, let me see that. I'll go right back to it. Boy, it's the Saber Sim special. Padres against Yamamoto, Mets against Strider, and then just to make me feel better, 37% Dodgers. That's it.
Yeah. No, I think that's reasonable. I still think, again, I'm not doing any 5-man, so I do think the Dodgers are probably going to be my highest owned, but I do have a bunch of I actually have the Mets as my second highest owned, but that's mostly lottery stuff for my big buy-ins. It's probably going to be some combination of either Dodgers, Rays, Dodgers, Braves. And then the one other one that I was sort of just the team that's sort of going to get overlooked today. I don't really like them. I was trying to tell myself, is this a story where maybe you could consider the Marlins, but I just don't think I'm going to get there. They're so cheap. It's tempting, but I do think, Sanchez keeps the ball on the ground. He's very good, although he's been nowhere near as good this year as he was in years past. And he's been a little bit more wild. So that's pretty much, the way I see this one. I'm not playing any lineups on FanDuel tonight, so I didn't see the.
I'm not either, by the way.
Oh, okay. There you go. And then with my so I just reran things because I tweaked a couple things, and I'm pretty sure you're going to see Dodgers and Mets. Yeah, that's what it is. Dodgers, Mets, Tampa Bay, actually. We could talk a little NBA if.
What's this Q tag on Tyrese Halliburton?
He's really hurt. He was hurt in the last game. I actually thought that he was going to come out of the last one, but he just didn't want to. He's definitely banged up. I would be shocked if he doesn't at least play, even if it's just for see how he feels, But there definitely is a boost, and what I will do is, and I think this, the projections have taken care of some parts of it, but I don't think that they've gone high enough on the quote, like the others from, including Nemhard, Miles Turner, obviously McConnell being the obvious one, who you might want to even consider as a captain, because if anything happens to Halliburton, you're going to see a ton of McConnell, and it'd be hard for him not to crush this price. But I'm going to go right back to my guy, and
who Benedict?
The Benedict Mathurin. We got to do it. So I'll have probably him as a captain even in like 10% of my lineups. I really think it makes some sense. You can get all of the big three from the other side if you want to play him. And I think that him with you get the three from the other side with him and Siakam, and I think it's just a pretty good good route to go. But I also think McConnell has some merit too. So those are two sort of off the board. I don't want to say whatever, but off the board as captains for sure.
Guess what? Oh, by the way, I lied. I totally forgot. I am playing FanDuel tonight. I'll let you guys know what I have. Yeah.
By the way, also for what it's worth, I think Halliburton's numbers are a little bit low because of this injury. So I actually think that boosting him up makes some sense too. It's weird to say, but again, I'm playing enough lineups to where I can kind of get a little bit creative. Is there anything on FanDuel you wanted to touch on before I?
I'm building it right now. That's what I'll let you know.
Okay. And then I'm just going to go back to Mather and make sure I've got enough. Yeah, I think this number is still too low. I'm going to go a few points higher, and that's pretty much where he's been at lately. So I'm going to be very high on this one. I think it's the right time to sort of commit to that play. Matherin, Neesmith. Okay, I've got this a little bit higher. And then basically raising up most of Indiana just in the hope. Again, I want to get some Indiana heavy builds, and just try to keep it to my main exposures for OKC to be Shea, Jalen Williams, and Holmgren. And what I would say is usually what we have in these game sixes on the road. Usually it's the superstar game, and that's if OKC was to win tonight, you'd see the big Shea game. And I think that if that's just the way I think that it happens for the most part. Otherwise, I think we're looking at game 7, which I'm hoping happens. But I think you could make an argument to, maybe I'll just bump them up a tiny bit, and I'm going to be kind of lowering the role players on Oklahoma City, just because role players tend to play better at home anyway. And I think that's I'm not talking about huge amounts, just like half a point to a point on most of these guys. And I will also bump Isaiah Joe up just in case there's that one game where he hits 4 threes and he's 1K. So we'll build now, and I'm going to see where I'm at.
On FanDuel for baseball, I am getting, pitching wise, I'm actually getting Spencer Strider as my top owned. So Spencer Strider, but then, well, he's only 8,600.
Yeah, he's cheaper over there because they're actually using how players they use how players play, not what they could be like,
Right. Yeah.
And he has not been very good.
And Charlie Morton I have next. And as far as the hitting goes over there, the Mets top owned stack and Strider top owned pitcher. And then I have chalk Astros. So I have leverage Mets, chalk Astros, and then Baltimore as the top stacks. As far as 4-mans over there, Mets and Baltimore, the top 2. And
Baltimore.
And keep in mind, again, you have the nice gap in between those games. So if you want to pivot off the Astros, there's incredible amounts of options you can use. Literally any of the 3 other teams besides the Astros, you could pivot to. With varying degrees of success. It's like
absolutely, and for what it's worth, like I love Yamamoto, and he's obviously been great this year, but he has 2 out of his last 3 starts he's gotten kind of beaten up. So taking some shots with the Padres on the low owned slate, I don't think is like the worst idea. I'm not getting to that myself, but I don't think it's a bad idea at all.
Just for funsies, I will tell you what my exposures are in the basketball. As I'm actually I'm going out for dinner in a little while. My top captain on DraftKings is the very, very speculative Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, 20%. And then the very, very off the board Pascal Siakam at 19%. But then I do have some stuff, you know what I mean? Like I got some Neesmith sprinkled in there, you know what I mean? Like Jalen Williams, Obi Toppin, Chet, Miles Turner, a couple of Lou Dortz, floating around. I only have 2% Tyrese Halliburton captain. And then this is actually kind of cool. How do I get this? Oh, I see. I have one lineup with Thomas Bryant in it. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because he didn't play in the last one, but we've seen those things change.
Who knows?
Tony, I mean, whoever played Tony Bradley in the last game, not that you got a huge production out of it, but that was out of the blue, and he was like 0.1% owned. But so perception can. I mean, Thomas Bryant is likely not to play any minutes tonight. Tony Bradley may not play any minutes either.
No.
One thing that's interesting though is I think that we just touched on part of it. I really think that you're supposed to play some Halliburton captain more than what they're going to want to give you. And I'm raising his thing and I'm putting a minimum on him. I just think that if he actually ends up okay here, where he would have been 12 to 14%, instead he's probably ends up like 1 or 2% in the high buy-ins and probably like 2 to 4% or something in the low buy-ins. I just think there's too good of an opportunity that, look, it's game 6 of the NBA Finals. The guy's going to play through something. He's going to do it now. So I like the idea of speculating of what if he's really too hurt to be able. I also think it's worth speculating on the other side of it as well. So that's why it's what's led me to sort of build up raise the projection on all of Indiana, lower on all of Oklahoma City outside of Shea and Chet.
Any of the other Bow Wow plays like Shepard and Isaiah Joe and I don't know, guys like that?
Yeah, I don't mind the Shepard idea because I don't like that I'm not getting more of him. Actually, this is weird. Again, he's another one I should bump up a little bit. Because the Halliburton being out, you want somebody to, between Matherin and Shepard, maybe Neesmith would guard Shea, but they also have Jalen Williams out there. So it's like really you need to have like good athletic guards, and Shepard is the defender that you'd think they'd want to put on Shea. Not that Halliburton would guard him, but I mean when Nembhard's not in there, or to give Nembhard a spell. I do think there's some upside for the Shepard, but I don't like love it, and most of my builds are not going to be needing those cheaper one, the ultra cheap in general, because I'm not getting to much of any of them, as whoever's looking at the screen can probably see. And I'm also going to rerun this to be lower on Lou Dort. I don't like the Lou Dort on the road in general. He's going to get called for way more fouls. Okay. I mean, look, it can happen. He can make threes if that out of nowhere. But I much prefer Caruso, who's a little bit more expensive. But I just think that I lowered Lou Dort's projection. I'm just trying to make sure I don't have any of the Lou Dort captains. And look, I'm just saying that in general, like guys like he and Caruso both, but Caruso comes off the bench and won't have to do it quite as much, and also is a little more effective point per minute fantasy wise. I think that Lou Dort. I just think that it's better to try to use. I think it's better to try to use more of Caruso than Dort. And as you guys can see, I've got 98% Matherin overall, and he is my highest owned captain tonight. I did raise his projection a ton, so I get why. But whether or not Shea's good to go, I think they need to play him, and I think it's been made pretty clear. He's had some rough moments at times, but he's also been unbelievable off the bench a lot. I mean, look at these numbers, and just in terms of real scoring. He played 22 minutes the last game.
Bill Matherin, you mean?
Yeah, and his usage rate is pretty reasonably high too, for considering it's Indiana. He was 2 for 11 in the last game. He still had 22 fantasy points. A couple games back in 22 minutes, he scored 27 real life points.
Some A's lineups are out, I think.
Okay.
Gio Ursula is out, if you had any of that.
Gio Ursula is out, okay. Let's see if I do that. And then just rerun one more time. But yeah, I mean, I sort of like the way this builds are starting to look for me. And again, I'm okay with making just taking a shot with the Matherin thing. I said I was going to do it every game in this series, and so far I would have been very right twice and good one other time, and then wrong twice. So I'm going to stick with it. The ceiling is just too high, and I really think that they might actually need his scoring, especially if the game slows down into half court at all. And he has many opportunities and different routes to get there. He's also active enough to do other things other than just score. What did he have? He had 2 blocks in the last game, I believe. He can do a lot of things out there. He had 6 offensive rebounds in the last game. That's wild. In 20 minutes. This guy is I'm telling you, just in a couple years, just come back to. There was a post by FanDuel that's asked if there's a superstar who people view the way that they used to view Shea, sort of like a good player that's going to always be around but not a superstar. And I said Matherin was my guy. I think he is the right answer to that. So this is sort of what I'm working with here, and you can see it's a lot more Indiana heavy than I usually go. And then I have way more Neesmith than usual as well. It's weird. It's going to be weird to have those guys in lineups together, but it worked out twice for the winners. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just going to save this so I have something filling in this. I'll have to go back and double check my.
Yeah, this Ursula was only like 2K, so I had him in a couple lineups, so I have to actually.
Oh yeah, it's a weird one. All right, let's see. Let's do this.
So just an announcement or two. So tomorrow I'm around. So you're out tomorrow? I lost track again.
No. I'm around tomorrow.
Okay. So I will definitely. I will be around. I'll be around tomorrow for sure.
Okay, cool.
And yeah. If you don't mind, I'm gonna hop out.
Okay, bud.
I will see you guys later.
All right, man. Have a good night. All right, guys. So that's sort of where I'm at for right now. I'm gonna, tweak some things and then just make sure I get my hand builds in the way I want, and I'll go back to baseball real quick. Any questions or thoughts? Week lineup for Oakland, says Anthony. Let me double check. I didn't actually read their lineup, so let's see what it is. Week lineup for Oakland. This is the same lineup they run out all the time. Just McIver instead of Wins as the catcher. I guess, yeah, I mean, this is pretty much the lineup we've seen every day. But it's better than yesterday because you have Butler and Soderstrom who were out yesterday, I believe, against the lefty. So even more improved. Who did we miss? And it's going to be Urshela. Come on. All right. And then we're going to rebuild again one more time. And let's do this. Come on. A little slow right now. All right, guys. Any other questions or thought? Anybody good starts in golf? Like I said, I'm 10th in the. That's a good start. A 10th in the biggest buy-in. That's good. We'll see if this can make it through somehow. I had the Eckroad in my 888, so maybe we can do some damage. We'll see. And then lots of low ownership stuff to go with the chalk at the top. So I kind of like that. I'm not trying to accidentally go 4-2 pay. I'm just heavier on the Pacers, so I probably do end up probably more like 3-3s. It's really hard to fade the top three from OKC. I just don't want the fringe guys as much. That's what I was looking out for, Carmen. And I just want to remind everybody, most of these shows are going to be premium only from now on. We're probably going to be hardly doing any free content just because we've been doing it for so long and we feel like we've got a lot to offer. And Sheets literally goes through exactly what he does to win on all the money he does every day. And I hope I hope that you guys will want to stick with us and check us out behind the paywall. Let's see where I'm at exactly right now, Carmen. Let's just go. Let me just clear this. Sorry. Where am I? Stack exposure. 4-2 team stacks. Indiana. Well, let's see. Four-mans. Yeah, I guess I am 50% Indiana four-mans. I don't love this 12% Indiana five-mans. I'm going to cap that at 10 and rerun this. I think it's mostly 3. I thought it was going to be mostly 3-3. I guess it is. No, I guess it's more 4-2s for Indiana. I'm just going to cap that at 50 and then just rebuild one more time and see what that does. No, I know, Carmen. That's partly, guys like you and a lot of other people who are with us. We just feel like we owe it to them that we do everything and we don't do it all for free. We might do like one free day a week or something like that, just to get things going. But we've done a lot of free content over the last few years, and I'm going to be gone for a little while. Obviously, I'm taking my long trip, but be nice to start. We've never taken any money out of the site whatsoever. Sheets and I have made $0, less than $0. We put money into it, and we need to start at some point making some money for a lot of the work we're doing. So. And it's also just fair to our subscribers, to you guys, that we do things the right way. So that's what we're trying to do. But you guys got all my ideas for right now. I am probably going to get out of here as well. I'm going to finish my builds and update everybody in the premium Discord what I'm doing for both baseball and for basketball when I decide. And good luck to everybody tonight. Yeah, that's right. The TrueDFS, Carmen. Good luck, guys. I hope hopefully somebody can take something down and we make some real money, and hopefully we get a game 7.